It's time for health tips. Now here's your host, Dr. Alma Jenkins.
Good evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Dr. Alma Jenkins, and this is Health Tips. Well, here we are. It's April, and if you remember last time, we told you that it is Alcohol Awareness Month as well as Irritable Bowel Awareness Month. Okay? And many of you have irritable bowel syndrome. You know, when you get upset, when you get what I call tied in a knot, your gut often absorbs those emotions, and some of you will get diarrhea, some of you will get constipated, some of you go between diarrhea and constipation. That's a typical scenario for irritable bowel syndrome. But as I said last time, irritable bowel syndrome is a diagnosis of exclusion. That means that you have to have done some tests to prove that you don't have something else. And if you have any of these alarm symptoms, that's not irritable bowel. For instance, blood in the stool, weight loss, okay? Those are alarm symptoms. Those are not irritable bowel symptoms. Now, granted, you could have something else going on and irritable bowel. Oftentimes, people with irritable bowel may have some emotional thing going on, or just, just stressed. Stress really brings it out. The other thing, Alcohol Awareness Month, let's say a word about that. Many of you know somebody who's an alcoholic. You may even be an alcoholic. Know that it is one of the hardest addictions to overcome. And don't beat yourself up if you are an alcoholic for this reason. If you could stop easily, you would have already. It's not like you decided one day, well, I'm just going to be an alcoholic. Who decides to be an alcoholic? You kind of drift into it based on your habits that you have. And if that's the case for you, I know it's not something you're proud of, and it is something that can be overcome, but you need professional help. You need professional help. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a facility in Johnston County where I work where you can go in-house and get treatment. And I actually don't think we have a specific facility in Wayne County either. I'll have to check that to be certain. But you need help. And you're going to need, most people who are truly addicted will need to go to in-house services. And that's what I mean when I say help. I mean a 30-day in-house program. You're actually in a facility for 30 days. As opposed to going, as an outpatient, you're just going to go visit it a few days a week or something. That is useful, but that is useful when you're at a certain point in the illness, not when you're, initially trying to get your help. Okay, so I hope that if you know somebody who's an alcoholic, that you'll take a minute and try and spend some time with them. Just listen to what they have to say and try to help them as best you can. It might be something simple like just listening for a period of time. They might need a ride to the facility where they're going for help. Whatever you can do to help that person, do that as a friend. Try to find that person that you know and love and help that person. It'll go a long way. And when they do recover, or they're able to now see that in their past, you would have really done something, because you would have helped another human being who will appreciate it so much and hopefully pass that forward. Okay? All right, so Alcohol Awareness Month and Irritable Bowel Syndrome Awareness Month is for the month of April. All right, so what are we going to do tonight? Now, we promised you last time that we were going to give another shout out to Spice Bouquet. And the reason we're doing that is because the food was so darn good, and they give you the recipe, so it's not a secret. And in fact, it is so simple that it's almost ridiculously simple. And you don't end up shaking a lot of salt. That's what I liked about it. As a hypertensive, I have to watch my salt. Everybody in my family, as far as siblings, are hypertensive, but one sibling who is not. All the rest of us are. And many of you know people who are, or you are. So we just really have to be very careful and try not to shake extra salt, not to do extra things like that if we can help it, and try and limit it as much as possible. And you could see that the other day I said that there was only 100 milligrams per serving of the blackened seasoning. Now we're going to use more than a fourth of a teaspoon of blackened seasoning for this salad. But still, if you look at that and you realize that this plus maybe some meat that you may or may not use the blackening on, if that's all you use for that day, that's pretty good. But you got to realize you're going to have 2 or 3 meals in a day, and you're going to try to limit your salt in your other meals as well. So hopefully you don't go over, say, 1,200 milligrams of salt a day, 12 to 1,500 milligrams or so. You don't really want to use more than you need to, okay? All right, so let's look at what we're going to do. We're going to use one of the Spice Bouquet salad seasoning. I highly recommend this. This is the salad seasoning. So what we do, and again, I'm giving credit to Spice Bouquet in Kinston. A shout out to those people there, because I'm doing exactly what they showed us, and they will show you more. This is just to kind of whet your appetite and get you there. And so I'm giving a shout out. They didn't ask me to do it, but I thought it was such a good experience, and I hope that we can have them on our show. So I'm going to put some olive oil in the pan here. Okay. We're going to let that get nice and sizzly hot. And while that's doing that, what are we going to do? We are going to lift some cans. Now, you know, I'm so happy to see many of you in the stores. When I go, you catch me and you say, "Oh, Dr. Jenkins, I'm watching the show," and I'm so thrilled that you're watching. But I want you to lift the cans too. I want you to exercise with me. And when we're not doing the show, I want you to exercise, okay? It's so important. I want you to be healthy. And I want you to get a habit of exercising at least 4 days a week. I want you to get in the habit of drinking water, at least 4 to 6 glasses of water a day. Now, many of you drink sodas. That's what you're drinking every day. You're making sure you get that Pepsi or that Mountain Dew, but you're not making sure you drink your water. Okay? I want you to cut your soda drinking in half. Notice I didn't tell you to stop yet. That's great if you can. But for the most part, I want you to cut the number of sodas that you drink in half, okay? All right, this is getting nice and warm. It's not quite ready yet. 1, 2, ready, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 10. Let's do 15. 11, 12, 13, and 14, and 15. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me see what we're doing here. It's getting there. It's getting there. Okay, you can kind of roll your hand around there and feel that it's there. Now, what I put the stuff in there that I like, and I'm just gonna not put everything in there because, you know, we're just gonna do like maybe for one person. I got asparagus. I have some mushrooms. I have some peppers. I have some broccoli. And I cut the broccoli thin, lengthwise. I cut it thin lengthwise. And I have some onions. Okay. So that's, and then I have some cucumbers. Okay. And you know what? I ended up getting some organic cucumbers because Harris Teeter had some organic cucumbers. Now, I'm probably going to put a little bit more seasoning in this a little bit more olive oil. So I'm shaking some seasoning here. I kind of coated a bit with it. I'm gonna turn it down some now. Put a little bit more olive oil in there. Now the asparagus can kind of get in the way because it's long, you know. And if you want your salad to kind of soften, excuse me, it's that pepper that's in there. You can put some garlic in there if you like. Now I modify it a little bit because what I'm gonna do is let it steam a little bit too. So I'm going to get my top down here. Let me get it. Now hopefully you won't have to dig around and get your top. Oh, okay. My little doggy. You watch that for me and I'm gonna get the top. Okay, so I'm gonna let that steam a little bit and I'm gonna put my tomatoes in there. So I'm doing it a little differently than he did. Put the tomatoes over here and I'm gonna put a little seasoning on them. I'm gonna let them steam just a bit and we're gonna exercise now. So I did the tomatoes last because I like those to still be, they don't have to be so done as the other veggies, but yet I put some seasoning on them just so that they also have some of that flavor. 1, 2, ready, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Are you doing this with me? Or are you on the couch? I want you to get off the couch. Get off the couch now, and I want you to exercise with me, okay? 1, 2. This is fun. Really, it is. I'm enjoying it. And in between times, I want you to drink a glass of water, 8 ounces of water, okay? Let's see how much more time we have. And let's march. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and let's do 20. 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, and 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 2, 3, 4. Let me say a little word about irritable bowel, because some of you have it, and what may be happening is sometimes the gut will spasm, and when it does, it can trap gas, and some of you are just more gassy. Some of you are having these little crampy feelings. They've done tests on you, haven't found anything. There is a medication called dicyclomine or Bentyl, and we often use that for irritable bowel. So if your doctor hasn't mentioned that to you, you might want to ask about it. That's B-E-N-T-Y-L. The other name for it is dicyclomine. It often helps if you're eligible for it. Your doctor can let you know. The other thing is there are patients who are constipated, have irritable bowel that way. But some of you are constipated because you are taking narcotics for chronic back pain and it's slowing your gut down. You know, we have a medication for those people too. specifically made for people who have pain medicine induced constipation, particularly narcotic induced constipation. So you might want to talk to them about that. And then some patients we will put on an anti-anxiety medication because we found that that can be effective in irritable bowel syndrome. So those are several things there that you might want to inquire about with your doctor if you have irritable bowel, because even though the tests are negative, it's still a challenging problem. People are out of work with irritable bowel. So it is something that we take seriously, though it is not one of the problems that you would be afraid to succumb from. Most people get through it and they're able to continue to function, but it can be challenging. Now, we said a word about alcohol, and I want you to remember that because you're sure to run into somebody with that problem if you don't have it yourself or some family member. So make it a point this month to do something about alcohol since it's Alcohol Awareness Month. All right, let's see what we are looking like here. Ooh, that looks great. Look at that. I'm just gonna stir it. Okay. Oh, that looks great. Now I'm gonna get a plate. Look, I'm gonna let you keep looking at how pretty that is. And I'm gonna get a nice plate. And I am going to now put this on the plate. And I'm gonna use some tongs. Look at that. That looks good. In fact, I think I am going to just lift this up like this. And I'm gonna, because it has some juices with it too. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. Doesn't that look good? That looks delicious. Now I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna start with tasting the broccoli. Let's taste that first. Look at that. That is good. And it keeps the flavor of the vegetable. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like a high-end restaurant that you might go to. Those cucumbers are delicious in there. Let me see what the tomato I put in there last. Let's see what that tastes like. Now, you can add things like, one of the things I would add is squirt some lemon juice in there, because I like lemon juice. But now here's a pepper. Let's see what the pepper tastes like. And a mushroom, I'm going to try that together. That tastes like, I'm not kidding you. It tastes like what you would get at a high-end restaurant when you order a medley of vegetables. And look how it retains all the wonderful color. And you can make practically a meal out of that. Suppose you just had that, and if you eat meat, a piece of meat, or if you had that and some crackers, or maybe some soup or something, if it was cold. Delicious. See, I love mushrooms. That is really, really good. Now you're gonna need a knife to cut your asparagus. To save yourself some trouble, next time go ahead and cut your asparagus up and put it in there. But the cucumbers are so delicious in there. You have got to try this and make sure you have some cucumbers. Such a wonderful flavor. I love it. And I only put just the seasoning. That's all I put in there. I didn't put anything else. Salt, pepper, nothing. Just this. And it's just wonderful. So anyway, that's a shout out to the Spice Bouquet. I don't sell it, so I don't have as they say, I don't have a dog in this race or whatever, but they sell it. And so I recommend it because, again, This only has 135 milligrams of sodium per serving. Very good, very good. All right, let's do some exercise and then we're going to get back to our wonderful meal. 1, 2, ready, and 1, and 2. Come on, exercise with me. 3, get up off the couch. 4, 5, 6. You know, as a matter of fact, you could have put the salmon together with these veggies and you'd have a meal. You'd have a low-fat meal, protein-laden. Protein from the salmon and all of these wonderful vitamins from these veggies, okay? And we're not talking about bacon or sausage or, you know, beef or any of that. You're talking fish and vegetables, the healthiest stuff you can eat, okay? All right, so let's do some stretches. Oh, that feels great. Oh, and bend and bend and bend and bend. Okay, now let's bend and bend and bend backwards, backwards, backwards. Okay, now let's bend again, bend again, bend again. Okay. That felt really good. If you've been, you know, cramped up all day in an office, at a cubicle, or at a computer and looking at that light all day and sitting in one position, this feels good. And I tell you something else that feels good. Those of you who have a little bit of problems with your back, lay down on the floor, get a box, and prop your knees up on that box. Just lay flat on the floor, put your feet over that box. In other words, your knees and your legs are on the box. So you're just kind of in a box position. You're going to find that that's going to make your back feel so much better. Because when you lift your legs up, you take the stress off of your back. You ever wonder why babies are in the womb and they're curled up and their knees are up to their chest? Because it's taking the stress off their backs. They aren't born with backache or back problems, and they've been packed inside the womb for 9 months because God knows just how to pack you just right. So when you come out, you're not going to have built-in back pain, okay? So that position tells us something, and it actually is a good position to get into sometimes, and you'll find that your back feels so much better. So let me recommend that those of you who have back problems, if you get in that position, and so you might say, well, what position is that? Let me just draw it here for you, for those of you who didn't quite get what I was saying, that positioning. Let me get my chalk. Okay, so here's the person here. Oh, I hope I can draw it. Here's the, let's see, can I draw that? So you've got your here's the box. Yeah, you're sitting on the floor, okay? And you got your knee up over the box like that. Can you see that? Now that's not a good representation, but I'm not an artist. Although I like to draw. If I was looking at it, I could draw it for you. But you've got your knee, your foot up, your legs up, your butt is on the floor, your knees are across the box. Okay? Now we know what to do for dog barking. My producer is going to give her some treats. So this is what you do when you're trying to take the stress off of your back. All right? And I hope you'll try that because you're going to find out that your back feels so much better. Now, instead of sitting up and doing it, lie down and do it. Okay? Okay? So you're gonna lie down. Yeah. You're gonna lie down and you're gonna extend your knees up towards your chest and rest them on this box here. That's your leg, that's your buttock. So you can just see the position of that, okay? Try that and see if it doesn't feel good to your back, those of you with back problems, okay? And I may try and find a diagram of that to kind of help you visualize that so that you can do that. And then for exercise, bend over and try and touch your toes. That even feels good. That feels really good to my back. I can tell the stress coming off of my back when I bend over like that. And just hold it there and lock your knees. Don't bend your knee. Lock your knee and bend over. Try and touch the floor and feel that pressure coming off your back. Feel how good that is. You don't have to touch the floor, but just go that way. And then see how pay attention to how your back is feeling. All right? And then try to stretch. Like put your legs apart, put your hands on your hips, and then bend again. And you'll begin to feel that in your lower back. Feels better, okay? So that takes the stress off your back and kind of unwinds the spine a little bit. And it really does feel good. So I hope you'll try that. I hope that you will try and drink more fluids, more water particularly. I hope you will drink half the amount of soda that you normally would drink. Which is a helpful thing if you're the type that drinks a soda every single day. I hope you'll cut back on that. All right? And lastly, we're going to try some more of this good stuff here. Now, I didn't even put the asparagus in my mouth yet, but let's try that with this. All right? And you know what's good about this? It still has the crunch in it. Still got that good crunch to it. That is delicious, and I want you to try it. If that'll help you eat more veggies, and what's going to be good is when we plant our garden. So I'm looking forward to that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'm Dr. Alma Jenkins. Good night.